Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Unplugged and Uncut, the news source for sports news and entertainment. You are live with your boy Unique, and today we got the Utah Jazz and the Chicago Bulls engaging in possible trade talks. That is right, we're going to share the article where the source of information is coming from, and then we're going to put together our own trade based on this speculation that might work for both teams. Before we get started, guys, however, if you have not taken the time to hit that subscribe button, make sure you do. We are on the grind to 100,000 subscribers. As soon as I get there, I am giving away a PlayStation 5 Disc Edition with the game of your choice. That is right. All you have to do to be entered to win is be an active subscriber and leave comments in the comment section so we can know who to pick. That is it. But without further ado, let's get into this blockbuster trade proposal between the Chicago Bulls and the Utah Jazz. So in this trade, we're going to have the Chicago Bulls pick up Rudy Gobert. And the Utah Jazz are going to get Nikola Vucevic, Kobe White, and a 2023 second round pick. Now let's look and see why the Bulls might say yes to this deal. Well, to start off with, they are getting Rudy Gobert, two-time Defensive Player of the Year. He would be a perfect fit and an anchor for that Bulls defense, especially with players like Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, and Patrick Williams. That's right, Patrick Williams plays excellent defense. That is four outstanding defensive players to surround DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine with. Let them focus more on getting buckets. We're not saying we don't want DDR and Zach LaVine playing defense. We're just saying we want DeRozan and LaVine to have more for offense. Now we got players that can back them up. That is right. A la Danny Green type players. Those 3 and defensive players that get you timely three-point buckets, but also are able to lock down the other team's best players. Now, they will also have a smooth combination of offense and defense with this lineup that allow them to compete for championships. And it also might be enough to convince Zach LaVine to stay, especially with Zach LaVine and free agency and looking to win, not just financially, but also probably trying to win as a team as well, bringing in Rudy Gobert to solidify that defensive front, knowing that you have the offensive firepower, could be an excellent way to keep Zach LaVine. Not to mention, you no longer have to worry about that Kobe White contract that would be coming up. Kobe White is going to demand a nice little payday. I'm not saying he's a max contract, but you're looking at 7 to maybe up to 15 million for Kobe White. See him taking no lower than 7 to 9 and up to 15 million. That is right. Kobe White is an excellent three-point shooter. Can play on or off the ball. So that's why the Bulls might say yes, guys. Their lineup becomes more complete with offense and defense. And then they don't have to worry about what they're going to do with Kobe White, knowing they're also going to have to extend Patrick Williams in the future as well. So next, we got why the Utah Jazz might say yes. And I think this one is falling into a little bit of that classic Kobe Shaq situation. The issue is, do you ride with the big man or do you ride with the young dynamic shooting guard? In this situation, Shaq was just elite and a monster offensively and defensively, so it's really no comparison there for Shaq and Rudy Gobert. But on the defensive end, it's a nice little comparison there. So I think they're going to keep their dynamic shooting guard and move off of the defensive-minded center, if anything. Now, I'm not sure the Jazz really want to trade Rudy Gobert, but if they did, this is why they might say yes. They're going to get the start to build around Donovan Mitchell. They're going to get a starting caliber center and Vucevic. And they also are getting Kobe White. Now, getting the starting caliber center and Kobe White allows you to still fight for that playoff hunt. You know, this team is still going to want to win games. So I think they could still win games picking up an offensive-minded center in Kobe White. Now, Kobe White also allows you to seek deals for Mike Conley. Kobe White can play on or off the ball, extreme three-point range, and is going to continually get better as his confidence in the league improves. So that gives you a chance to move off of Mike Conley, where you can maybe improve in other areas of need. Players like John Collins and Jeremy Grant come to mind, but I don't think you're going to be able to get those two players. I'm just using those guys as an example of a power forward type player. I do like Royce O'Neal, but I think Jeremy Grant is a better player and would look nice right there. Now, I don't think the Pistons are trading Mike Conley for Jeremy Grant, so you're going to have to get a third team in there to try and get a John Collins or a Jeremy Grant type power forward who their team might be wanting to move off of. So that's what I would do if I was the Jazz GM. But just as is, you'd have Donovan Mitchell, Kobe White, Royce O'Neal, Nikola Vucevic. That is not bad. Not to mention Bojan Bogdanovic, who's going to get you buckets at a high clip. That's a nice starting lineup. You could bring Kobe White or Mike Conley as the starting shooting guard or point guard, depending on how you see Donovan Mitchell. He's more like a scoring point or a scoring shooting guard, even though he's the height of a normal point guard. So a lot of options there. Not to mention, with the Jazz not having any draft picks this year, that extra second round pick in the future becomes a bonus. That's right, second round picks give teams more contract flexibility and options to have on that young talent they're trying to eye and see if they fit their team. With that second round pick, I would again look for a 3-and-D type prospect a la Danny Green or Otto Porter. That is the type of player I would target with that second round pick in the next year's draft. And that's with the Utah Jazz. If I was a GM, I'd be looking to do with that second round pick. 3 in defense. Somebody that can hit buckets. I don't care if you can drive, as long as you can lock up your player at a steady rate. Now, you're not going to lock anybody up in the NBA. Eventually, they're going to get their buckets. But if you could play defense, like a Danny Green or Otto Porter, not expecting you to be Draymond or Rudy Gobert, just stay in front of your man and hit three-pointers at a 35 to 40% clip. That's what we're looking for. Guys, the Chicago Bulls trying to make a run at the title with this new offense and defense. How do y'all feel about that? Do y'all think this Chicago Bull team, if you add Rudy Gobert, can make a run at a championship? Remember, the Chicago Bulls were the first place team in the Eastern Conference until the injuries started hitting them really hard. I just feel like Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, Patrick Williams, Rudy Gobert, that is 4 outstanding defensive players. You mix in Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, and you got the perfect combination of offense and defense. I do think losing Kobe White is big time. Kobe White is a lottery talent. Infinite range. The kid can really shoot the ball well. But you're not losing him for nothing. You're not worried about that next contract, and you're picking up a defensive player of the year, 2-time defensive player of the year on top of that, who has the chance to, if the Bulls defense picks it up, win his 3rd defensive player of the year. Jazz, how do you feel about this? Being able to still fight for the playoffs and starting the actual rebuild around Donovan Mitchell. And we're not going to say rebuild because the Jazz are too good to just go rebuilding. We're going to say retool. So retooling the roster to fit Donovan Mitchell more. Do y'all think this is a good start, Utah Jazz fans? Bulls fans, do y'all like this trade that was proposed that we helped modify to try to help both teams out? There's no way in the world I think the Chicago Bulls are trading Patrick Williams. Sorry, not gonna happen. Even though the article also pointed that out, that they don't believe the Bulls would want to trade Patrick Williams, and then they mentioned another player like Javonte Green. I actually think the Utah Jazz would be better suited getting that 2nd round pick than picking up a player like Javante Green. So I will send you guys also one last thing, the ESPN trade machine, to show you that the contracts do work out in this trade. And then I'll be going to get my popcorn ready. That's right, so I can check the comments to see how everybody feels about this Chicago Bull, Utah Jazz, Blockbuster trade proposal. But for now, your boy is out.